You've got questions and we've got answers. Hi, I'm Kevin Eikenberry, answering the questions that new leaders ask us. Actually, it's our goal to help all leaders be more productive, successful, and confident. And I hope, if you're watching this on YouTube, that you'll hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes as I answer the questions people ask. Questions like this one. Kevin, how can I learn from a bad boss? It's a good question. Are you ready? Let's get started. If I want to be a better leader, I can look at the good bosses I've had, the great leaders I've worked with. It's pretty easy to think about how I can learn from them. But I often get asked the question, Kevin, how do I learn from a bad boss? It's a really good question. You know, unfortunately, you may have had one of those. Maybe you have one now. If you don't have one now, you're likely glad you don't work from them, but they can be a source of learning and inspiration for you, but only if we think through some things, right? So let me help you walk through that process of learning from a bad boss. First, and maybe most obvious, first, resolve not to be like them. See, here's the thing. If you had a boss that was less than awesome, not as effective as they could have been, and you don't think about any of this consciously, you'll start to replicate what they've done, even if you didn't like it, just because that's the example that you have. Because as leaders, we are role models, and so that person who even wasn't awesome is a bit of a role model for you subconsciously. So first, resolve to not be like them, but that's not really enough. I really think there are three questions you should ask. And if you ask yourself these three questions, you can turn the lemon of that bad boss into some lemonade for you as a leader. Let's talk about those three questions. The first one is this. What are the behaviors and traits? What were the behaviors and traits of that person? Like, what did they do that was less than optimum? What did they do that drove you nuts? What did they do that was ineffective? What were the actual behaviors and traits? Not just, well, I didn't like working for them. So until you can get a little more granular, it's going to be hard for you to take much learning from it. So what did they actually do? What were their behaviors and traits? Then, why didn't they work? Again, we're trying to depersonalize it from the person and say, where are the lessons here? So why didn't those behaviors work? Chances are they weren't trying to be a bad boss, and yet, regardless of what their intention might have been, it didn't go so well. So again, don't look at this from, well, I'm blaming them for this, that, and the next thing, but if these are the behaviors, why didn't they work? Why were they less than effective? How did they impact you and the people that you worked with? So get a little more granular about the behaviors and then about why those behaviors were ineffective. And then the third question is, what will you do instead? So I open by saying, resolve to not be like them, but that's really not enough because you can't just say, well, I'm not going to do that. You have to decide what you're going to do. Right? And chances are, even with the really bad boss, there are maybe a few things that they did well or that you thought they were effective at. So you'd want to replicate those. But for the most part, if there are things that they did or said or whatever that didn't work, and now you understand why they didn't work, now you can say, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this instead. So if you take those three questions, what were the behaviors and traits? Why didn't they work? And what will I do instead? If you will take those three golden questions, you can turn the lemon of a boss into some lemonade for you as a leader. Let me close with today's tweet. Leaders can learn from any example, even from bad bosses. Just resolve not to do what they do. I hope you found this video helpful. Maybe it gave you an insight that you could use for yourself, even if you've never asked yourself that exact question, but maybe you have a question you'd like me to answer. I'd love to answer it. Send me an email to info@kevineikenberry.com or leave a message in the comments below, and we will let you know where we've answered it before or perhaps when we'll have it on a future episode. I hope that you will come back for more episodes like this that you can find on YouTube or at kevineikenberry.com. I hope you'll do that. And I also hope one more thing, that if you found this useful, if you are on a journey to become more effective as an individual and as a leader, I'm confident that you will love our 3 times a week short email called Your Remarkable Day. Ideas, insights, inspiration to help you have a better day every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Hope you'll take advantage of that. You can get the links to sign up for that below. And either way, I'll be back here. I hope you'll be back too when I answer more questions from people just like you.